Great Scott, it's the Agile Manifesto. Imagine this, it's 1985 and you're skateboarding through Hill Valley. Your best friend, a wild-haired inventor named Doc Brown. You ride a time-traveling DeLorean. Now, hold that thought. What if I told you that the entire plot of Back to the Future actually mirrors the principles of the Agile Manifesto? Stay with me on this one. Agile isn't just a methodology, it's a mindset. It's about embracing change, fostering collaboration, and delivering value. But sometimes these values can feel a bit abstract. So let's break them down, not with theory, but with flux capacitors. Let's start with Doc Brown. This is a man who builds a time machine out of a DeLorean. Not the best practice, not ISO compliant components, no manuals, no standardized processes, just a vision, some plutonium, and a lot of duct tape. And Marty, he's not operating off a checklist, he's improvising. He doesn't need Jira, he needs trust in Doc, a skateboard, and the confidence to act in the moment. What's the lesson here? It's that people make it work, not the system. You can have all the tooling in the world, but if your team doesn't talk, doesn't trust, doesn't collaborate, that flux capacitor is never going to flux. And this isn't just a movie insight, it's backed by research. A landmark 2020 study by Google's Project Aristotle found that the highest performing teams weren't the ones with the best tools, the most experience, or the most formal processes. They were the ones with the strongest human dynamics, where psychological safety, trust, and communication were central. Agile understood this long before it was fashionable. The first value of the manifesto doesn't say get rid of processes and tools. It says prioritize people and interactions over them. Because tools don't solve problems, people do. Now let's talk about delivery. Doc Brown doesn't give Marty a 30-page project initiation document. There's no Gantt charts, there's no formal specs, there's no definition of done. He just looks Marty dead in the eyes and says, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit. And guess what? He delivers. The time machine works, not because it was perfectly documented, but because it was built to function. So what's the lesson here? Demonstrate value, don't just describe it. This principle, working software over comprehensive documentation, isn't a dismissal of documentation. It's a reminder of what matters most. In Agile, the value isn't in how much we write, it's in what we ship. And the research, again, backs this up. A 2015 study by the Standish Group found that Agile projects are statistically more likely to succeed than waterfall projects, precisely because they focus on early delivery of working increments rather than upfront documentation. The key there isn't no documentation, but just enough to move forward, no more than that. Think about it, would you rather have 100 pages of amazingly written specs or a real working product on your hands by the end of the sprint? In the movie, there's no debate. Marty needs a way home, not a white paper. And in Agile, your users don't care about your process diagrams, they care about whether the thing works. All right, let's talk about stakeholders. In Back to the Future, Marty's original goal was simple. Go back to 1985. But things changed. Suddenly, he's trying to prevent his parents' marriage from falling apart. Then he has to save Doc from being shot. Then he has to make sure he's at the clock tower at exactly the right second. The mission evolves, not because of scope creep, but because reality changes and Marty adapts. He doesn't say, sorry Doc, that's outside my original brief. He collaborates, he adjusts priorities, he responds to feedback from the world, from Doc, and from that fading photograph in his pocket. So what's the lesson here? Agile isn't just about locking down requirements. It's about staying close to the people who matter and adjusting to what they need now, not what they needed then. And again, this isn't just movie logic. Let's have a look at the research. In 2022, a study published in the Journal of Systems and Software said that teams that maintained ongoing collaboration with stakeholders, not just at the start, but throughout delivery, had significantly higher success rates and customer satisfaction. The 2023 State of Agile report found that the number one reasons organizations adapt Agile isn't faster delivery, it's the ability to manage changing priorities. Because here's the truth, requirements will change, people's needs will evolve, and there's no contract in the world that can predict the moment your customer starts disappearing from a Polaroid. Agile doesn't avoid change, it embraces change through conversation, through collaboration, and through course correction. And speaking of course correction, let's be honest, Back to the Future is basically a masterclass in everything not going to plan. Remember the original roadmap. Step 1, travel to 1955. Step 2, find Doc. Step 3, get back to 1985. Simple enough. But then the time machine breaks down. Marty's mum starts to fall in love with him. And the one source of power, a lightning bolt, must hit the clock tower at the exact second he's driving towards it. At any point, Marty could have said, this wasn't planned. But he doesn't. He adapts, and so does Doc. They don't abandon the mission, they rethink it. They retool, they reprioritize, and they rehearse. they iterate towards a goal. The fourth value of the Agile Manifesto is plans are useful, but adaptability delivers results. And that's the hardest one to live by, because as humans, we love certainty, we love control. But delivery, especially in complex, fast-changing environments, demands something different, demands resilience. And again, the research backs this up. The PMI Pulse of the Profession 2021 report found that the projects using agile or hybrid approaches had a 28% higher success rate, largely due to their ability to pivot quickly in response to changing conditions. The 2022 McKinsey study on enterprise agility reported that adaptive organizations outperform their peers in both innovation and financial performance, precisely because they decentralize decision-making and allow teams to shift direction based on real-time insight. And here's the thing, no plan survives its first contact with reality, especially when that reality involves a Libyan terror group, stolen plutonium, and your teenage mom asking you to dance. Agile doesn't discard planning, it puts planning in its place. The goal is not to follow the map, it's to reach the destination no matter how many times you have to reroute. So here's what I'm hoping you'll take away from this. Firstly, Back to the Future isn't just a sci-fi classic. It's not just about time travel, hoverboards, or 80s nostalgia. It's an agile case study disguised as a blockbuster. Because what do we see? Iteration under pressure. Every solution Marty and Doc try is a prototype, tested, adapted, and sometimes scrapped entirely, all in the pursuit of a working outcome. Collaboration without ego. They listen, they support one another. There's no blaming when the plan fails, only problem solving. Trust in the face of uncertainty. When you're hanging from a cable, from a clock tower, in a thunderstorm, there's no time for macromanagement. You trust your team, you commit, and you deliver. This is what Agile looks like when it's alive. Not a board full of Jira tickets, not a perfectly groomed backlog or templated sprint reviews, but people showing up, thinking fast, working together, and adapting with purpose. And if a team with a skateboard and a radiated car can pull it off, so can we. Because Agile isn't about doing the right thing by the book. It's about doing the right thing in real time with the right people. So next time you're in the sprint review thinking, this isn't going as planned, don't panic, don't reach for the raid log, channel your inner Marty McFly. You don't need perfect specs, you need courage and you need feedback. And you also need enough boldness to hit 88 miles per hour. Because with the right team and the right mindset and a little lightning, your next delivery might just leave a trail of fire behind it.